Good morning, everyone. It's not even 7 o'clock yet, almost. Not quite. And here I am. Try to clear you guys a view. Alright, so I've been trying to get caught up on babies that need to have hair rooted in, that are going to be Christmas delivery babies, and I have another Summer Rain here, and she's going to get blonde hair rooted in. She's almost ready for her hair. I just need to do a little bit more modeling, and then her nail tips and eyebrows, and she's good to go. I need to check my broadcasting because I'm still having some issues with my computer. So I'm not sure if you guys are even seeing this or not. Okay, buddy. Okay, so it's not looking terribly bad from what I can see, so I'm just going to continue. I do apologize if the quality gets kind of crappy later on. I don't know. It's just I'm still working on all this computer stuff. Alright, so I don't know what to do with this little girl. I think she probably needs another... Don't really want to do another purple. Maybe I'll do one of the lighter pinks. That seems like a good idea. You guys can see I've worn one of my favorite brushes to a frazzle over the last couple of days. I need to get some more of the bigger ramekins. They work so much better. These little teeny ones are okay for brushes, but they're not so great for sponges. But for now, I'm just going to work with what I've got. I don't know if you can hear Cookie chewing on his bone. He's having a grand old time under there. does his work, I do my work. I guess his work is the bone, my work is all of this. So I have a head total of 8 that have to be rooted in time for Christmas. And then I have several more that either need no hair or they need painted hair for Christmas. I'm just about ready to close the Christmas edition. I don't have much more availability for Christmas delivery. In fact, I am starting to transition into the period where I offer follow-up rooting for Christmas babies. So basically I make the baby with no hair and ship the baby in time for gift giving, and then the baby has a follow-up appointment to come back to me to get their hair done. So that allows, the gift to be given, and then it also, gives a little less stress for me trying to get everybody's hair in. I'm trying not to outsource anything at this point. So God help me. I really like this Summer Rain kit by Bountiful Baby. Maybe I'm just getting better with their vinyl, but I haven't had a big problem getting the tones to come to a normal base with any of them lately. I'm sure it's probably just me practicing and getting maybe a little more experienced with the lighter vinyls. Alright, so I think I'm going to go ahead and do a bake for her. I also have this little girl. This is Blessing by Marita Winters. And she is ready, except for she just needs eyebrows and eyelashes and of course hair. And she needs her fingernails and toenails tipped. I'm almost hesitant to tip them though, honestly, because these preemie babies, they have such tiny, tiny little fingernails and toenails. And I don't want to get too much of a tip. So I might just do a muted tip, which is like not as bright of a tip, just kind of watered down some. He's really loving that bone, y'all. This little Summer Rain is getting blonde hair, so I'm thinking that her skin tone is just about where it needs to be able to accommodate that skin tone. I mean, that hair color. Alright. tip these as well because I finished her up last night, just except for her eyelashes and eyebrows and her nail tips. This is an Andy asleep. She has a full vinyl torso. And she has 3/4 limbs. So that lets you keep the nice posability and squishy feel. But you also get some of the prettier poses for pictures and display because you have that soft vinyl torso. So we're going into my favorite time of the year, which is also, consequently, the hardest time of the year for myself and for a lot of people. Holidays are really difficult. Life was made to be enjoyed, right? So I'll tell you guys a story about my childhood Christmases. So, you know, I was raised by my grandmother. My sister and I both were. And we were pretty poor. We didn't really have a whole lot of anything, truly. I didn't even have a bed till I was like 14, I think. And then it wasn't really a bed. It was one of those like dorm fold-out chair things that folds out into like a little tiny, skinny little mat. I had that I had gotten for Christmas in the year of my 14th birthday. And I was graduated from sleeping in the floor on a blow-up mattress to sleeping in the floor on the little fold-out chair thing. But my grandma was such an amazing woman, and she wanted to build a bed frame for my little tiny cot. It was a little cot. And so we had all of this leftover 2x4s and an old road sign that came from a construction site or something from eons before. And she had a handsaw, and I can still remember me and her and my sister being out there behind our house, that stupid handsaw, hacksaw thing, holding the lumber so she could cut the lengths of the 2x4s to build my frame. And the 2x4s were really pretty easy, but when it came time to cut that stupid road sign, you have no idea how thick a road sign is and how heavy duty a road sign is until you try to cut it with a handsaw. So the first night when she made my my bed frame, it was too tall, and so I was terrified of falling out of it, because I mean, I had been used to sleeping on the floor for a long time, so it's a little scary. So instead of me sleeping in it, I slept in the big bed with my sister, and then my grandma slept in my very tall, awkward, skinny bed. And then the next day, we took it apart and shortened the supports, and then it was perfect. So that was a feat that was accomplished pretty nicely. And my grandma, she was a quilter, and she made me a sheet set and a bedspread for my little tiny skinny little bed. And it was such a small little bed that, like, when I would flip over, I used to always joke with my sister that I had to jump into the air and flip in midair and then hope that I landed in the position that I was going for when I came back down. And so Christmases at our house were really special times. We always had a dinner there for all of our family, uncles and aunts. Our dad would come. It was the one time of the year that you could guarantee that Dad would be there. And, you know, coming from a very poor background, you know, it was like heaven's gates just threw open wide on Christmas Eve. And my sister and I would be so excited. And when we would go to bed on Christmas Eve, we would just be so anticipating seeing our dad and, you know, our family coming over, and of course the gifts, you know, as children, you know, it's such an exciting time. And, you know, my dad was pretty much an absentee dad. He was there at Christmas as a given, and then he came for birthdays and Easter pretty regularly. And then the other big holiday, which is like Christmas, was 4th of July, Independence Day. Then we really, you know, he brought all the fireworks and we had a good time. But we would go to bed Christmas Eve. Grandma would leave. It was the only night she would leave the Christmas tree and all the Christmas lights on. So that made it special too. And so we would go to bed Christmas Eve, and when we woke up, we would be awakened by the sound of usually the little hand mixer as she was finishing up the mashed potatoes, and the smell of coffee and cigarettes booming from the kitchen. And I remember our dad would always sit at the one end of the table. And when we came out, because we came out from the bedroom into the living room, and the whole floor would just be filled with colorful boxes with ribbons and bows, and that was just, it was kind of a sort of thing that it made up for the other 364 days of being dirt poor, because that was the one day that was so special, and we felt so special and so loved. And when I had my daughters, I wanted to make sure that they had the same experience. So we would have lots of toys and gifts and things wrapped up, and I kind of went through the same motion, that my dad did with my kids. So these days, Christmases are a lot different. We don't really do a whole lot of family stuff since my grandma passed away in 2014. And now I have a very sick uncle who's just been put on hospice care just this week. So that's very sad. So prayers are appreciated. Anybody who prays regularly certainly would appreciate that. It's a very sad time, especially for my mom. It's her brother, and he has cancer. And so far the treatments haven't done anything good, and may have either allowed it to get worse or possibly even made it get worse. I don't know. But he's really not doing well physically. Emotionally and mentally, he seems to be doing really well. And he is, in right relationship with God. So that's such a blessing. I'm very thankful for that. I can't believe that Thanksgiving is so close. Can you guys believe Thanksgiving is like a little over a week? Gosh, this year has just flown by. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So while I'm baking these guys, I'm going to leave you for a few minutes because I took my diabetes medication and I haven't eaten anything yet, so I really need to get something to eat before I start feeling yucky. And then I'll be back, so I probably won't pause the recording because it's, I kind of want to see what the system can do. So I apologize for my vacancy, but I will be back shortly. I'm back! Did I just scare everybody? Sorry. It's a good thing you guys can't see my hair right now. I've taken a messy bun to a whole new level. Alright, so I'm waiting to hear back from the mama of this little preemie for hair color confirmation. So for now, I'm just going to put her off to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and bake this little Andy asleep. I'm going to bake on her little nail tips. Get them sealed up really nicely. I have my trusty Diet Dr. Pepper because caffeine is a must right now. I've been working on dolls about 12 hours a day. Since Sunday, I think. So I started out with 8 on the racks and I'm down to 3 now after these 3 are completed. Because then I'm going to be going on a rooting extravaganza, rooting marathon. I think that's too dark, so I'm going to have to add a little bit more, a little lighter color. If you hear me sniffling, I apologize. I'm not sure if I have allergies happening or if I have a cold coming on. I don't think it's a cold though, because I feel great. It's just the news. That's a little bit better. So those are her little eyebrows. I think I'm going to go ahead and pause the oven since she's all ready. Look what I just did. Wow, that's some really clear saran wrap, y'all. Let's try not to destroy anything else, Betty. Oh boy. So I'm going to use this relatively thick. And the reason is because I'm trying to darken up the tips of her little toes and her little fingers. So I need a bit thicker of the paint. And she even has her little glucose stick on her little foot. I'm going to try to find some little tiny band-aids and send her home with a little tiny band-aid on her little glucose stick. Sometimes the little bits on the inside can stay too light. A little bit of paleness underneath the finger is okay, because I don't want to cram this area of the palm full of pink paint, because I want to be able to go back over and put some blue in there. And it won't look as good if there's not a little bit of contrast between this darkness and then the middle, which should be a little bit paler. Baby's little bottoms are usually a bit redder underneath the diaper because it holds all the heat in, and they have very fragile skin. So I like to add a little bit of moderate diaper rash, a little bit of irritation. And generally what you see is less reddening toward the top of the diaper, which would be here. And I'm going to turn her around. And I'm going to darken everything else up to the same level in the front. And with this area, you know, the skin is very fragile, as I said. So I'm not going to worry about a lot of evenness there. I'm kind of going to let the paint do as it will. Sometimes getting realistic markings just means letting the paint do its thing. So this is what it ends up looking like. I'm just going to scatter a little bit of pink up over the hips to tie it into the lighter color back here on the back. And voila! Hang that back up there. So I'm going to bake this Andy Asleep again, and then we'll rebake the torso, and then I'm going to bake the Summer Rain. But I want to get her eyebrows put in first. So that's the base for darker blonde. And then so then you have the darker blonde underneath, and then you just top that with a little bit of the nail tip color, and then press it down to lighten it a bit, to blend it down into the darker. And that's going to be it for her eyebrows. She does still need nail tips though, so we'll do those. And just, once she gets baked, then she'll be ready for her eyelashes to be rooted. So I'll root the need eyelashes first before moving on to the next sculpts. Normally I bake in between this layer, but it looks pretty well flashed. And since time is of the essence, I'm going to go ahead and put on her little mani-pedi. to do the torso first. This is a very squishy now. Trying to decide how to lay her head so that it doesn't get misshapen, because that was a bake and a half straight, which won't melt it, but it will make it very, 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 very soft. Alright, maybe I have confirmation on what Alright, so she is confirmed baby brown. Baby brown. So I like for the eyebrows to rest at the contour of the brow bone. So when you look at a baby from this direction, you can just start to see the hint of the hair right above that the protrudence of the bone structure. So now that that is done, I'm going to darken up her nasal passages a little bit into nose holes. And her lips just a little bit. I'm going to bake this baby's head with the summer rain head and body, so that I can maximize oven time. And since these are both small kits, they should, all the parts should fit, hopefully. Possibly. All right. And of course the cloth body goes inside of this. I like to do this when the torso is still pretty warm too, because then it's really flexible. Okay, so this is basically the finished baby, except for hair and gloss and eyelashes. Not too bad. Once you put a baby all together like this, you can really see the tones between the different pieces of the vinyl. And of course the face is always going to be just a little bit different than the rest of the body. And you want to have a lot of expression. So I've left a little scratch that she has. That's a little bit of expression. She's probably going to have a little spot right here that looks like it could develop into a little freckle or a cherry hemangioma. Very, very cute. Very, very cute. So I'm just going to let her kind of cool down a little bit. And then I'm going to, because her head's still really soft, if you can see that. So I don't want to go poking around, because with the needle, with the hair for her eyelashes, because I don't want to have to struggle with this softness. So I'm just going to let her chill for a little bit, and then I will do that. Just for size comparison, this is the Merida Winners Baby Blessing, the preemie. It's a big difference, huh? It's a tiny, tiny baby. And little arms. Isn't that sweet? And little legs. This is probably the tiniest kit that I have ever created, at least since I've been a professional artist anyway. Most of the babies people request are the bigger ones. So it's kind of fun to do this little preemie, micro preemie baby. So I'm going to let this finish baking, and then I am going to come back and do the hair. I think I am going to go ahead and shut down the video for right now. I will bring it back up and do another live broadcast, a live stream, when I get ready to start putting in the eyelashes. Because these three babies put me at the halfway mark, well, a little over halfway mark, for the rooted babies that need to be done by Christmas time. So then I have 3 Chloes that are coming up next, and they of course have the full vinyl torso, so I'll be working on those diligently. I am hoping to be able to start my rooting marathon either tomorrow or on Friday, and get all these heads rooted and get these babies ready to go home to their mamas. Prayers are appreciated, because this is the biggest rooting marathon I have ever done, which I'm so thankful for the orders, and I'm so thankful for my customers' patience and their caring, and I want to be able to put these babies out as quickly as possible so you guys have them for your gift giving this holiday season. But I think I'm going to need God's help to be able to root a little bit faster, because yeah, definitely going to need God's help. Alright guys, thank you so much for joining me this morning. I'll be back in a couple of hours probably, maybe less time than that, to go ahead and start rooting in the eyelashes. I'm not even going to cover my paints because I'll be back into them before the afternoon anyway, so it'll be all good, all good. Cookie, you want to come with me?